Hey there folks, welcome back to another video. It's early in the morning. It's what, Monday? Today's Monday. We got news for brand new Mafex figures, which is really cool. They're from Captain America, the Winter Soldier. We got images of the Winter Soldier and the stealth suit from Captain America, the Winter Soldier, which is really cool. Very excited about this. And I will say that I'm pretty certain that we've seen the Winter Soldier figure before. At least, I don't know if it was an all-blank prototype or if it was a painted prototype. I'm pretty sure we've seen that before at a previous Mafex display at a convention or something like that along those lines. And I'm pretty certain that we've also seen the Golden Age Captain America before. I don't know if that was SH Figure Arts or if it was Mafex, but I'm pretty sure we've seen that somewhere too. So hopefully, whichever company, if that even happened, which I'm pretty sure it did, whichever company has that in the works, I hope it comes out soon, because I personally really love that suit. I prefer the World War II version of it, the actual First Avenger suit, over the Winter Soldier version of it. Nonetheless, it would be really cool to have the suit. But let's go ahead and take a look at these images right here. And we are looking at these images through the Instagram account, MezcoHK, so kudos to them for providing the images for us here today. So let's go ahead and move on. And we are starting this bad boy up, if it'll work, right now with Winter Soldier. So right off the bat, this looks really sharp. It's very reminiscent of the scene. Well, they're inspiring it off the scene where he picks the shield up in the movie, which is really cool. Speaking of the shield, it's very much painted to look like that scene as well. And it's also the way that I painted my Winter Soldier shield when I did my Winter Soldier custom, kind of custom. I painted the shield to look like it when Bucky's holding it. So that's really cool. And in my personal opinion, I think that Mafex has the best Captain America shields. I don't have the Mafex Endgame figure to really say that with from a personal, from an in-hand perspective, but just looking at them, they look perfect. The Marvel Legends ones are too big, and also they make the last ring too thick. There's not even spacing between the rings. And then SH Figure Arts, with their overall size, is pretty accurate. It's just that the size of the star itself is just a little bit too big. You can see here that the star and the blue area is a little bit smaller, so these shields look perfect. As far as I'm concerned, Mafex looks like they do the best shields, and the scaling looks proper as well. So I'm really excited to get this, as well as the stealth suit. So with just those two figures, you'd get 3 shields, and I know that's spoiling a little bit, but you'll see here in a minute. So that's really cool. But again, very reminiscent of the scene where he picks the shield up in the movie, which was a badass shot, of course. And then moving on here, this is very reminiscent of the scene where he picks it up. I remember this shot from the trailer, and it was pretty badass. It was. I remember that. I mean, going back to 2014, you had Captain America, the Winter Soldier, Guardians of the Galaxy. It's still one of my favorite superhero movies of all time. Both of those movies, of course. The Amazing Spider-Man 2, which I was in love with that movie when it first came out. It's freaking Spider-Man. I loved every movie when they first came out. And then, which I still love it to this day, but it's not quite like little kid loving it. I can see a lot of its flaws. But of course, Days of Future Past, which is my personal favorite X-Men movie, at least the Rogue cut. Sometimes I go back and forth with First Class as my 2 favorite X-Men movies, but 2014 was a pretty awesome time for comic book movies. And of course, you had the TMNT reboot as well, which I think I watched once or twice. I don't know. Other than that, I'm not too sure what else came out in 2014. But yeah, this looks pretty cool. It looks like you get 3 different head sculpts here, which is very nice. For me personally, I don't know which one I would have him displayed as. I would want to say the all masked up version, but at the same time, these Bucky head sculpts look really good. They look just like I forgot his name. That's unfortunate, but yeah, they look pretty good. I like the half mask one as well. I thought he was supposed to have the black makeup around his eyes for that. I could be incorrect, but either way, all 3 of these look really good. Look just like them. I love the hair sculpt as well. They look pretty good. And again, here's another shot of him all masked up, looking pretty sharp, and the arm looks really cool as well. I'd be interested to see how shiny that ends up being when the figure comes out. Another shot of him holding a few of his weapons here. Looks really, really good. And I was leaning towards getting the newer Marvel Legends release, but after seeing this, I completely forgot about it. I'm pretty sure we'd seen a prototype of this before, like I said, but I'm definitely leaning towards this. I might still get the Marvel Legends one. It's very possible, but this figure is looking really, really sharp. And here's another shot with the other mask. The only thing I would like to say, is I would like to see a little bit more paint detail throughout the figure in terms of little dry brushing here and there, just something to kind of muck up the suit a little bit. Because as it stands, it looks like it's mostly just going to be black. But I don't think we'll have to worry about too much, because it's not going to be like a completely bare bones figure like Marvel Legends does sometimes. I'm sure they'll add some stuff here and there, but it looks pretty good in terms of the sculpt, and what is painted looks really good. And you can see here what looks to be some weapon storage, and it looks like he's got another knife here on the side. And again, that arm looks really good, and you get some painted details here on the back, and some little canisters right here. I would think that those are shotgun shells, but they look a little bit too... Oh, you know what those probably are? They're probably the canisters that you put into like a the same kind of gun that Tony Montana had at the end of Scarface. It's got the grenade launcher, or not, the grenade launcher attachment to it. That's probably what those are. I'm assuming. I don't know. I know jack shit about guns. Again, this figure's looking really sharp right here. And it looks like here's what he comes with. A few knives, and of course the shield, which looks really sharp. Very, very happy with this guy. Looking really good. It would be nice to see him come with some more gun-related weapons. I don't know what's going on with that. I just did a video on the SH Figuarts Deadpool, and you can see that they completely removed his holsters and his guns, so I don't know what is going on. I know DC has their gun restriction thing, but I didn't know Marvel had that as well. At least that's what it appears to be going on here. But maybe it's because these figures are made overseas, that maybe that's what the issue is. I'm not entirely sure, but this guy's looking pretty good. So let's go ahead and take a look at the Captain America figure. And I will tell you right now, I am in love with this suit. I love this suit so much. This suit and the Captain America, the first Avengers suit, as well as the first Avengers suit, are my top 3 Captain America suits, aside from the classic design. I absolutely love this suit. I have a painting of it right over here, over my shoulder, that has seen little progress in the recent past, but I love this suit a lot, and they've knocked it out of the park. I was just thinking the other day, I'd seen somebody, I think somebody did a custom of this the other day. I can't remember who it was, but I just seen somebody's custom of this not too long ago, and it was looking pretty sharp, and it made me think about this. And I'm so glad that they're doing this. It looks really, really good. The head sculpt, it looks maybe a little bit wonky. It doesn't look too bad. I think I'm leaning towards just at this moment right now, I think I'm leaning towards the first 10 years Captain America head sculpt. So I would be interested to see what that looks like popped onto this body. But it doesn't look bad, and it's definitely a lot better than what we've seen. I think a lot of companies have issues with doing Chris Evans head sculpts. At the end of the day, I think that only Marvel Legends has really pulled it off with just the first 10 years head, and then maybe the World War II head sculpts, but even those are kind of painted like, they don't usually paint the skin tone, and with those heads they painted the skin tone, so it kind of makes him look a little bit weird compared to some other Marvel Legends figures. But like, I think that overall the head sculpts that came with this guy are pretty good, and then the first 10 years ones are good, but other than that, not a lot of companies pull it off in my opinion. And I don't have the previous 2 Mafex yet. I will be getting them. I don't care if I have to give an arm and a leg, I will be getting them. But I don't think a lot of companies are able to pull it off really well at all. So I'll be interested to see what this looks like when it comes out. But as it stands right now, I think the Marvel Legends first 10 years head sculpt is what I'm leaning towards. And also the hair is more blonde than it should be. Chris Evans' hair is generally a little bit darker at the bottom, and it kind of gets blonde at the top. They kind of have more of a transition going on. But as far as the paintwork goes on the figure, it looks really good. We get a bunch of different browns for the belts and the straps and everything, and the shield. Woof, the stealth shield looks really good. I tend to have the red shield with my cap, my Winter Soldier cap, just because that's the one that I painted for it. But I wish I could use the stealth shield just because it makes him stand out much more. But at the same time, he really only used the stealth shield at the very beginning of the movie, so like one makes him stand out more, but then the other is more accurate throughout the movie. But even then, he doesn't wear the suit a whole lot through the movie anyway, so you might as well use the blue shield. The Rogers looks good, and it definitely looks like, and somebody commented it right here, it looks like we're not getting the bicep swivel. They're probably going to do an SH Figure Arts type thing where it's coming from the actual shoulder. I don't prefer that, but I can understand why they did it, and I'm willing to get behind it. Of course, we have to see what it feels like and how it works in hand. I would have preferred it, but I can see why they didn't do it, because just the nature of the suit, I can see right now if they would have put it at the cut where the silver is, if they did that, then it would have been a really ugly bicep swivel. So, or they could have cut it across the bicep like you see from some figures, and then it would have been just, it wouldn't have been too good. So maybe they engineered a swivel in the elbow. They don't generally do that from what I know, but I guess we'll have to find out and see. But just pure aesthetics, this figure looks really good in my opinion. The head sculpt might need a little bit of work, but that might be, I might be saying that prematurely. And here's the classic red and blue shield. Again, looking really sharp. I think Mafex does the best shields. And you can also get a loose mask as well. So that's really sharp right there. And right here's another picture of the head sculpt. Right here, it looks pretty good. It definitely looks a lot better than the other image, but still, I don't know how close. I don't know if I like it more than the first 10 years head sculpt, but it definitely looks good for what it is. I think it could use a little bit of work though, a little bit of tweaking. And here's a picture of him with the shield on his back, very reminiscent of one of my favorite posters from the movie. So that's pretty sharp as well. And here you get a look at the back of the figure. Nice sculpted details, everything looks painted very nicely. Again, I would like to see a little bit of, just a little bit of dry brushing just to muck up the suit a little bit more. I prefer that with Winter Soldier over the stealth suit just because I like the idea of Cap looking kind of clean and pristine. But at the same time, just a little bit can go a long way, in my opinion. And right here's another shot of the figure. He's looking pretty good. And it also looks like the straps this time around don't look too big and bulky. And I think that's just, I don't know, it looks pretty good to me. With the Infinity War suit, you could definitely tell that the straps were a little bit bulky, and then they toned it down for Endgame, and then this figure definitely looks like it's riding really nicely on the body, and it's pretty form-fitting, at least to me anyway. It looks pretty good. And then here's a shot of some of the other head sculpts. I'm sure these are the same head sculpts you got with the Endgame figure. I'm not entirely sure off the top of my head, but either way, they look pretty fantastic. And there's a nice shot of him. And there you get a little hint of the red on the suit, just a tiny little bit. And then there's another shot of the figure right there. So let's go ahead and wrap this up. I am personally really excited for these figures. I really hope that they do the Golden Age suit. It's one of my favorite. Again, I prefer the the World War II version of the suit, but it's still one of my favorite suits. It gives you a lot more red. Well, not a lot more red, but it gives you a lot more white and brighter red and a brighter blue. I personally lean towards that. I love when the superheroes are nice bright colors like this. That's my personal thing. Bright red and blues for Superman, bright red and blues for Captain America, Spider-Man. That's what I like. Which is funny that this is one of my favorite suits because it's the most muted Captain America suit that you have. Even in the comic books, it's the most muted suit, but it's still a badass design. So I'm personally really excited for these figures. I think they're going to be pretty sharp because from what I can tell, the Marvel Legends, or the Mafex caps rather, look really good as well. So please let me know down in the comments what you guys think of these figures and if you're excited for them. And I think that is it today. And of course, until next time, true believers.